Kia ora and hello everyone. Welcome to my annual message celebrating our first birthday. Happy birthday to us. May the 4th was when we launched, and many of you may know from my time in New Zealand, I have a secret love of the Stormtroopers and they bring lots of joy to many of the events that I've done. And so it felt relevant to launch on May the 4th, and it will forever be our birthday. Our EDM will be full of puns, as you will see, but I just wanted to give a kind of, first year update. It's been an interesting week or so. I think when you come to anniversaries, it's absolutely a time to celebrate and recognise achievements that you've made. And you will see in the EDM2 lots of lists, lots of data. And I think, the figures and numbers that I have shared is not to say, look how incredible we are. It's to look at the achievements that we've made with a very small crew in our very first year. And I think it's to encourage everyone that we have to stop and reflect on the small wins, the achievements that you've made, because very often we just keep going and keep going. And I'm excited to see the growth that we've had with, like I say, just a small team and what we can do with my vision of a united collaborative approach is exciting, where we can be together. But it's not been easy, and I've debated about, what should this message be? And it is a celebration and a recognition and a huge thanks to everyone. But this time last year, I didn't even know if we'd make it to May the 4th. When I think about things to share, I look at some of the posts I share on LinkedIn, and the ones that leave impressions of 10, 15,000 are the ones where I talk about honestly and authentically about myself. And it's sometimes quite hard to do, being bold and being brave and being vulnerable. But I'm going to take this opportunity to share that it hasn't been easy getting to this point. When I left my previous role, I was given the opportunity to do something meaningful and to continue the love and the passion I have for making sure that fundraisers can be the best that they can be. My story has been shared with many people. I know many people have maybe seen it more than once, but I know we have a bigger audience now, and I have been honest with my journey. It came from an adverse childhood with experience of being in the care system, mental health issues, which I've been open about, and I have shared in some spaces that I have been living with bipolar for the last 10 years, which is very well managed most of the time. But it does leave me vulnerable to what people think and what people perceive as my intent. And so that was a real challenge for me. The first 3 months of last year, prior to the 5th of May, was February, March, April, was probably the hardest times I've ever faced in my career. Some of you will know that I had a son who was very unwell, and in February last year, he had a suicide attempt that left him in a coma in Wellington Hospital, and I'd only been in Australia for a few weeks and actually had to call the ambulance from here for him. That was only a week before, I think, the FIA conference. So I had some really personal challenges leaving my son at that time. So that was difficult, but also I had entered a world where entered a new part of my career, which I think publicly there was lots of celebration from my previous role, but there was a very small group who I think were left feeling at a loss from the previous organisation and what happened there. When I left that organisation, there was some things said that came to my attention to the point of some, harm was made against me as a person. People with a position of influence and who'd been given an esteemed kind of title wished harm on me, and that had got back to me. And when somebody wishes death on you, it really, really impacted me. I did everything I could in my previous role, and it's part of the sector that I've always wanted to advocate for, the kindness within the sector. It's a beautiful place to be, but there's also a downside. There's a lot of egos in the sector, and there's a lot of I think when crisis hits society or organisations, people act and say things with raw emotion. And so that's why I maintained my integrity and didn't want to call out something that I believe is very unprofessional and inappropriate for my previous staff to have been privy to, in terms of someone who used to manage them. So it's been a difficult situation, and I think you take that all on board inside, and like I say, people act with raw emotion, and it's what I've had to learn. It's not about what I didn't do, but it's potentially about what other people failed to do, and in those circumstances, everyone's looking for someone to blame. I know it seems very negative, but those first 3 months were very challenging. I stuck close to the people who gave me the opportunity to do what I did. I battened down the hatches, and I probably closed the door on a lot of people that I needed to lean on, but I needed to wrap myself around the people who believed in me, who knew the personal and professional sides that I was going through, and I stuck with the people who were looking after me, and I did that for a few months and actually thought about giving it all up. It was really, really difficult. So the fact that we got to the 4th of May, looking back, really surprises me. So enough of the sadness. I just want to share that with people that, if you are struggling, it's tough, but you will get past, and stick to what you believe in, stick to your core purpose, and your true intent and who you are and what you want to represent will come through. And fast forward a year, I've had so much connections made, particularly in the last 3 months. I am so excited for the nest. People are understanding what it is that we want to create to complement the sector, to coexist in harmony with everyone else, and the change that we can all make together, united, is exciting. So a huge thank you to everyone. We've made it to our first year, and here's to many, many more. There's too many people for me to thank, so I'm not going to list them individually. They're listed in the cool Star Wars credit that my beautiful husband Denford has made. So, and he does have a special mention in the credits. And to Corey, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and we will continue to do amazing things at the Fundraising Nest. So thank you all. Have a drink for the Fundraising Nest this weekend, and may the force always be with you. And we are the force behind your fundraising. Thank you.